and welcome to NARmovies. We are Nathan and Rose.
And the movie is The Machine. Do you like my robot?
Yes.
I absolutely loved this movie. It was awesome.
It was so enjoyable.
Right from the very beginning, I knew, remember, I was just like, I'm gonna like this movie. Just like, the dude's missing part of his head, and then he's just like, stab him. Awesome.
No, literally
awesome.
Minutes into the movie, you can tell how much time they spent in just making it look good. And I know that's maybe for some people, they're like, oh, but it has to have a good plot, good all this, which it does have, but like, you know, aesthetics are really important when you're shooting a movie.
Yep.
And it's a beautifully shot movie for the location.
It is a beautiful
movie.
It has some interesting things, like the lens flare thing is like, it's funny because it's done very frequently, kind of like, you know, like you think of like J.J. Abrams or James Cameron or whatever, you know, just like the overdone lens flare thing.
Yeah.
But since this movie is more like, since it's not so Hollywoody, it's an indie movie, I feel like it gives it a different vibe. And also, since the feel of the movie is so like, I mean, literally the movie all takes place underground.
Right.
And it's about artificial intelligence, that it gives you this idea, this feeling that like everything's artificial
everything's
and man-made.
mechanical.
And so when you get these lens flares off of these like fluorescent lights underground, I feel like it really gives this kind of artificial feel, contrasted with the very end of the movie when you finally get the sunset that the machine
wants to see.
Wants to see. It's like the first time you see natural light.
Yeah, they're out like on the hills like on a cliff next to the ocean. It's very, very bucolic.
Okay, well, we'll get to that part later on. But first, what'd you just think about, like, I don't know, like the movie was very dark. It was a very dark movie, like emotionally dark, which I really liked.
It was. I mean, the premise is that the United States and kind of Britain and, you know, kind of the West is in a Cold War with China, where they're just constantly competing back and forth to make weapons that'll, you know, kill the other side.
Sounds
basically.
familiar.
Yeah, exactly. But you know, the film had a very classic sci-fi feel. It had this very, like, you know, there's like the good guys and the bad guys, and they're on both sides. You know, there's some bad guys on like the side that we would, you know, kind of attribute to, but at the same time, it has this kind of like, you know, it has this revolutionary feel. And from what I get from that, especially with the artificial intelligence, she has this kind of hope in that even though the present right now, we have a lot of bad people doing a lot of things, there's a lot of evil around, she has this kind of like hope, almost innocence towards the future. And even though she's this artificial brain, she's very like logical and all that kind of stuff, she's also just kind of like, well, this is how the future's going to be, and we're all going to be happy together because we'll be advanced beings past this unjust period that we're going through.
I think you said at one point she reminded you of 7 of 9 from Star Trek Voyager a little bit.
Yeah, she's very like logical, but at the same time, she has this kind of hope about her that kind of like gives you this good feeling, even though like everyone's kind of we're bad.
Okay, so I wanted to kind of juxtapose that against, it's funny because usually in this kind of artificial intelligence, robotics minded science fiction plot, the idea is there's people maybe against it because they're afraid of robots taking over. Yeah. But then the good guys are there to show you that the robots just want to integrate it in with human life. Right. I think of like the movie I, Robot, where like everyone's like, oh, the robots are evil, and actually most of them are, except for the one good robot who's trying to like, you know, make robots intertwined with humans.
Because when they become more intelligent, their sense of justice becomes more developed.
And think of the movie, is it just called AI? Artificial Intelligence with Robin Williams. At the very end, he like legally becomes a human.
Oh no, that's not AI, but that is, I don't remember the name of the movie, but it's something.
But anyway,
I know what you're talking about.
Usually this plot line, you get this idea that like robots are the good guys, and that we're trying, like, as the you know, protagonist, you're supposed to root for them to join humanity. Well, in this movie, even though you're still rooting for the robots, at the end they do take over humans. Like they, well, not like enslave them or whatever.
But section of humans. There are the humans with the computer implants in them, which is something I also wanted to talk about. But you were saying, so at the end, you know, instead of like robots integrating into humans because humans are the end all be all of like justness and goodness, in this movie it kind of seems like all humans have kind of gone to crap. Yeah. You know, or at least most of them.
And she calls them, you know, she's like, we are the new world, you are the old world.
Right, they're just like
we are the new,
we have this better sense beings. Of justice and goodness than you do. Yeah, and I found that pretty interesting. Just this idea of like, artificial intelligence plus these humans who have had brain damage, and then they get these implants in their brains, and at first everyone thinks they're kind of dumb, they're supposedly mute, but they actually just figure out this better way of communicating.
Like super efficient communicating, and it sounds just like...
Yeah, it's all like...
It's really creepy, but it sounds really cool.
Very creepy, but it's like, it's very interesting how, to me, this new artificial intelligence, because the machine is the only, the machine is the only entity in the movie that has this new artificial intelligence.
Like everyone else was a mind that kind of had that
right. She's a step up from these people with the implants, but
like
still,
their god,
she's not the one who started the revolution. She maybe helped it like actually take place.
She was like the strongest of everyone.
Exactly, but there was obviously this huge background story where all these all these people with computer implants in their brains were like plotting this thing. Yeah. And this is one point I actually wanted to bring up, which is something that's so fun about this movie is that it has so much background that you could just imagine for yourself. Like, I feel like this movie could be a part of a series. Yeah. You know, how did the US and the UK and the Western world come into this huge Cold War with China? And how did the people who eventually started getting all these implants, how did they start this revolution? I kind of want to know their story, and that's what's kind of fun about this movie. You get to kind of imagine things afterwards. You feel like this movie is only a very small part.
You apparently have had a lot of imagining time. You've got a lot to say about this movie.
It's a thought-provoking.
I really liked the movie. Apparently,
it's a thought-provoking movie.
I wanted to say, okay, so the girl who plays Ava and then the machine.
Was
incredible job.
Oh my gosh.
She did an incredible job because the machine's character. I mean, Ava, like, you know, just typical. She was a girl.
Yeah, just like girl scientist who's like impressionable and trusting, but like curious.
But that it was the same actress, Caity Lotz.
Right.
I wrote it down. Caity Lotz. She killed it. Like
job.
The way she
and
like
even the
delivered
makeup and costume transformation. Oh, looked really cool. But yes, she did an amazing job just switching from that scientist human role to this very robotic role. But the way she delivered everything,
like she, you know, she was kind of curious and questioning, but like truly acted as if she didn't have any kind of social, you know, like connections to any of her behavior or whatever. I thought she did an awesome job. The delivery was really good. I thought it was a little cheesy at first because like there was no nudity in the movie, but the character, she's like, you know, once she like figures out like dance and like her body and like, you know, she's like naked a lot because she doesn't understand the necessity for clothes yet because she was created.
Yes,
you know,
I mean,
she's a computer.
She's enough artificial brain.
But anyway, at first I thought it was kind of cheesy because she does like, there's like this big dance scene where she's completely naked, and the way they did it was just like they darkened a lot of the area so you could just see like her head or whatever.
Right, maybe
and at
like
first I thought it was kind of weird, but then I realized that they were able to keep it classier, I guess, not having any nudity.
Right.
But at the same time, it wasn't just like awkward. Like, I hate it in movies where, like, I guess it's more a TV show. They're like, we need to show this person's naked, but we can't show nudity on TV. So they just, like, the subject is awkwardly cut off, like, at the shoulders or something. And I'm glad that, like, that wasn't in the movie. Like, because part of it was, like, the elegance of, like, her dancing and, like, I'm a robot, but maybe I'm human, you know, like it's on the edge.
Or you're a step past just being a robot.
Yeah, so they were able to add that. So I ended up deciding that I liked the way that they did that.
There was a lot of stylistic creativity just with the way that they were shooting. The DP must have been a very skilled photographer because they really did, especially in conjunction with the lighting and the computer effects with what limited resources they had available. They really made it a beautiful film. Like, and that's so funny to think that, like, oh, I'm just gonna sit down and watch this film about like a laboratory underground. Like, that's literally where the film is shot the whole time. But like, you watch it and you're like, the colors and the contrasting is so beautiful.
It's so dark, but when there is like the way light is used, I feel like since it's so minimal, each scene is so minimally lit that the light really does play a huge role in this movie. And especially like, I mean, even just little things like, anytime the people with the implants would like be in the shadows, their eyes glow.
Oh, I know.
That blue.
Like a cat or a dog's
you would see them and then they would step away and then all that's left is their like
and it
blue
wasn't
irises.
Overplayed. It was just a little bit, just enough for you to
be like the light of like her body, like when she would like use muscles, it would like the muscles under her skin would light up.
Cool.
So now that I'm thinking about it, light was used in a very artistic and really cool way in this movie.
I mean, if you're looking for a movie just for pure aesthetics,
check it out.
And sci-fi-ness, it's beautiful.
It's an awesome movie. So final question I wanted to ask you. What do you think now? Like, we've seen lots of different, I mean, just you and me we haven't talked about it on this channel, but
right.
different implications of artificial intelligence. If it were to go kind of the way of this movie, how do you feel about the advancement of computers and AI?
That, you know, the way they constructed this AI, you know, she, like the brain, she passed the Turing test and stuff, and I would just hope that they would be intelligent enough to see, like, the people, like the humans, you know, who would be on their side, whereas the humans who would, you know, confront it, because I would definitely be on their side. How about you?
Well, yeah, if that's the question now, yeah, I'm gonna be on the side of the
I mean, the cause that they were going toward was very logical and very just and very, like, good guys
equality,
for the win.
You know, we're conscious now, so we deserve the rights that everyone else gets.
Definitely.
Anyway, well, thank you very much for watching this episode of NARmovies. I hope you enjoyed the movie. I know that we did.
Yes.
Make sure to like and comment. Let's talk about the movie more down there.
And if you would like to hear us talk about more movies in the future, click subscribe and tell us, you know, if you have any movies that you would like us to watch that are somewhat accessible. Hit us up.
Netflix usually, but you know, yeah. Okay, thanks. Bye.
Bye.